Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
When is the local authorities' election? The date will be announced after the refund of deposited bonds is complete, says the Election Commission. Opposition led by Sajid requests election postponement until budget debate concludes. Ready for the election, says SLPP. Namal indicted in Krish deal case, granted bail. How will the proposed salary increase for government employees be implemented? Trade unions express concern. Heatwave expected in 5 provinces tomorrow, and dry weather disrupts water supply. Bread prices reduced.
On to your top story tonight, the Election Commission said that the timeline for the local government elections will be declared once the refund process of the already deposited bonds is complete. Chairman of the Election Commission, RMAL Ratnayaka, said that the refund of the already deposited bonds will begin within the next 2 days.
Sri Lanka's commission is currently facilitating the return of previously deposited bonds to the respective parties and the cancellation of accepted nominations. This follows the passage of the local authorities elections bill by a significant majority in Parliament yesterday. The bill, certified by Speaker Dr. Jagat Wickramaratne, has been forwarded to the government printer for publication. The Election Commission has also officially informed the relevant authorities about the passage of the bill. Professor Chandanabe Ratne, Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government, stated that the Commission will proceed with the necessary steps for the local government elections following this notification. How long will it take to hold the local government elections after calling for fresh nominations? Here is the perspective of the People's Action for Free and Fair Elections.
The bill clearly states that the Election Commission must call for nominations within 3 months. Therefore, there is no obstacle for the Commission to expedite the election process. If the Gazette is published tomorrow, the Commission has the authority to hold the election within 52 days from tomorrow. The minimum period is 52 days and the maximum is 66 days. Based on this timeline, the local government elections can be concluded by the last week of April. There is no justifiable reason for the Election Commission to delay the elections at this moment.
මැතිවරණ කොමිසමට මේ මොහොතේ මැතිවරණ ප්‍රමාද කරන්න කිසිදු සාධාරණ හේතුවක් නැහැ.
Several opposition parties, including the Samagi Jana Balawegya, have requested the Election Commission to postpone the upcoming elections until the conclusion of the budget debate. This request was made during a meeting with the Election Commission this morning, led by opposition leader Sajid Premadasa and attended by representatives from the Ilange Tamil Arsu Katri, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress and the New Democratic Front.
We highlighted the importance of allowing members of Parliament to fulfill their legislative responsibilities during the budget period. We proposed that the election process should commence after the 21st of March. We are committed to efficiently executing the budget process and seek the Election Commission's cooperation to achieve this. During the budget period, if nominations are called, we need to be present in both Parliament and our constituencies. This situation should compromise our parliamentary duties. It will lead to a point where we cannot even stay in Parliament.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna has not joined the call to postpone the elections. They have stated that they are fully prepared for the local government elections.
We expect the local government elections to be held by the end of April. As a party, we are fully prepared to face the elections with great strength. Additionally, we are receiving an unexpectedly high number of nominations from candidates wishing to contest under the SLPP banner.
MP Namal Rajapaksa was served indictments at the Colombo High Court in connection with the alleged misappropriation of 70 million rupees related to the Krish deal. The indictments filed by the Attorney General were handed over in the presence of Colombo High Court Judge Manjula Tilakaratne. Following the indictment, the court granted bail to Namal Rajapaksa, ordering his release on a cash bail of 100,000 rupees and two sureties of 10 million rupees each. Additionally, court instructed that Rajapaksa's fingerprints be taken.
The case initially filed at the 4th Magistrates Court has now been transferred to the High Court. Detectives from the Financial Crimes Investigation Division, or the FCID, were present in court and have been ordered to appear at the next hearing. Deputy Solicitor General Vasantha Pereira represented the Attorney General, while President's Counsel Sampath Mendis and a team of lawyers appeared on behalf of Namal Rajapaksa. The charges against Namal Rajapaksa stem from allegations that he misappropriated 70 million rupees received from India's Krish Group under the pretext of promoting rugby in Sri Lanka. On the 5th of February, the indictments were filed with the Colombo High Court by the Attorney General. The allegations were initially brought forward by Vasantha Samarasinghe, convener of the Voice Against Corruption Committee in 2016. Namal Rajapaksa was previously arrested and produced before the 4th Magistrates Court, but was later released on bail. The pre-trial conference for the case is scheduled for the 27th of March.
We will prove our innocence before the court. On the other hand, we are not prepared to engage in politics as per the government's wishes. We will continue our political journey with our supporters and people. That is why a large number of people are rallying around the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna today.
Is the Samagi Janabalawegya facing an internal crisis? Discussions on this matter had resurfaced following a statement made by President Andru Kumara Dissanayake in Parliament yesterday regarding parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva.
On the 14th of February, the Samagi Janabalawegya appointed a new group of district organisers. This was the response of Dr. Harsha De Silva regarding these appointments.
නෑනේ මට දුන්නේ දිස්ත්‍රික් නායකත්වය කොළඹ කලකිරීමෙන් වගේ අනේ මොනවා කියන්නද මල්ලි දෙනවා නම් දෙනවා නැත්නම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ එච්චරයි මම තමයි ඉතින් කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨතම മന്ത്രിවරයා හැබැයි ඉතින් නායකතුමා එක තියාගෙන තියෙනවා ජාතික නායකයාට අමතරව
President Andru Kumara Dissanayake made a statement regarding parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva during the budget speech against such a backdrop.
මොකක්ද හර්ෂ නා හර්ෂ ඔයා ඉල්ලනේවා මට දෙන්න බෑනේ මං කොහොමද කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික් නායකත්වය දෙන්නේ මට බෑනේ ඒවා දෙන්න ඒක ඉතින් මේ විපක්ෂ නායකතුමන් ඉල්ල ගන්න ඕනේ.
This was Dr. Harsha De Silva's response following yesterday's parliamentary session. Sajid Premadasa, the leader of the SJB, expressed his views on the matter yesterday.
එතුමාට කලකිරීමක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ කලකිරීම අවසන් වන්නේ එතුමා වැනි උගත් ප්‍රශස්ත පුද්ගලයෙක් මේ රටේ මුදල් ඇමතිවරයා හැටියට කියන දේ කරන අයවැයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන අවස්ථාවක ආවම තමයි මේ කලකිරීමක් තියෙනවා ඒක නැති වෙන්නේ. MP SM Marika, elected to parliament from the Colombo district under the Samagi Janabalawegya, responded to this today.
At the 2020 general election, when I secured second place in the Colombo district with 96,916 votes, the party considered appointing me as the district leader. However, some individuals argued that the position should not be given to a single person as it would be unfair. So they suggested that the leader should retain the position. I believe the leader is continuing with the same approach, holding on to that role now. This time, I am not in second place. The reason I was not appointed as district leader despite securing the second place last time was due to that reason.
ඒක ඉතින් අහන්න ඕනේ එතුමාගෙන් මේ මගෙන් අහලා වැඩ අරක තමයි ගිය පාර වුනේ ඉතින් ඒකම තමයි දැන් යන්නේ ඔය විදියට.
No, it is not for that reason. Last time they decided not to give me the position to avoid any issues with one person holding it. Instead, they asked the leader to retain the position. I believe the leader is continuing with that approach.
Several parties have responded to the proposed salary increases for government employees presented in the budget by the President to Parliament. What are the proposed salary increases for government employees in this budget?
Chandana Surya-Rachi, a Member of Parliament from the National People's Power, explained the proposed salary increases for government employees during a press conference at the National Trade Union Centre today.
සරලව ගත්තොත් 24250ක අවම මූලික වැටුපක් ලවපු අවම අධ්‍යාපන සුසුකම් වලින් රාජ්‍ය සේවයට බැඳෙන කෙනෙකුගේ අවම
In simple terms, the minimum basic salary for a government employee with minimum qualification currently at 24,250 rupees will be increased to 40,000 rupees. For example, the minimum basic salary for a graduate or trained teacher in the public service currently is at 34,160 rupees and it will be increased to 57,860 rupees under the 2025 budget proposal. This represents an increase of 23,700 rupees. Although the initial increase may be small, it will result in a significant salary increase across various services. For instance, the current starting basic salary for a development officer is 31,490 rupees, which will be increased to 53,060 rupees under the new proposal. The basic salary increase alone from the 31st of December 2024 to the 1st of January 2025 will be 21,570. After deducting allowances of 7,500, the net increase will be 14,070 rupees. By the end of 2025, the basic salary will increase to 53,060 rupees. For a second grade development officer, the minimum basic salary will increase from 37,260 rupees to 63,440 rupees. We have always fought for an increase in the basic salary rather than allowances. The current government has listened to our demands and focused on increasing the minimum basic salary for the working people of this country.
ඉල්ලීම පිළිබඳව අවධානය යොමු කරලා මේ රටේ වැඩ කරන ජනතාවගේ අවම මූලික වැටුප වැඩි කිරීම සඳහා තමයි වැඩි අවධානයක් යොමු කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
The Unified Development Officers Centre stated that the net salary increase is 8,250 rupees.
ඇත්තද කියන වැඩි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ජනාධිපතිවරයාම කියනවා 8,250යි. එතකොට 8,250යි කියන්නේ සුද්ධ වැඩිවීම. ඒකෙනුත් අප්‍රේල් මාසෙ
What is the actual increase? The President himself said it is 8,250. The net increase will be received in April with 5,000 rupees and 30% of the remaining 3,250 rupees. The remaining 70% will be received in 2026 and 2027. The 8,250 rupee net increase will be added to the basic salary of 15,750 rupees by 2027. The 7,500 rupee allowance received so far will be included in this amount. In the past, government employees fought for salary increments and the government responded with allowances of 2,500 rupees, 5,000 rupees and 10,000 rupees. The 15,750 rupee includes these allowances. According to President Andhra Kumara, the net increase is 8,250 rupees, which will be fully realized by 2027. We are currently in 2025, so the real value of the salary will increase further. A salary increase promise for 2027 is not helpful today.
එතකොට වැටුපේ මූර්තාගය අඩු වෙනවා තාම. නිසා අද ඕන වැටුප් වැඩිවීමක් 2024 දීලා වැඩක් නැහැ.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna affiliated trade unions also expressed their views.
රාජ්‍ය සේවකයාගේ වැටුප අර දීමනා සියල්ල අතහැරියම 8250කින් තමයි වැඩි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ වැටුප් වැඩිවීම
The net salary increase for government employees excluding all allowances is 8,250 rupees. I believe this increase is insufficient given the current cost of living. Additionally, the report on eliminating salary disparities for teachers has been completely ignored. Teachers protested and demanded salary increments, which led to the downfall of the previous government. Ignoring their demands now is unacceptable.
අඩිතාලමෙන් ගුරුවරුන්ට නොසලකා හැරියයි කියන එක තමයි ඇත්තටම මට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කියන්න පුළුවන්.
The Ceylon Teachers Union also commented on the proposed salary increases in the budget.
මේ වැටුප වැඩි කරලා තියෙන්නේ අවුරුදු 3කට. එතකොට අපි අහන්නේ 2026 බජට් එකක්.
The salary increase is spread over 3 years. We are asking if there will be no budgets in 2026 and 2027. What is the meaning of promising a 3-year salary increase in the year's budget? Adding the 7,500 rupee allowance to the basic salary means that the net increase for the first grade teacher will be 6,225 rupees from April. For a second grade teacher, the net increase will be 4,056 rupees, and for a third grade teacher, it will be 2,061 rupees. We expected a salary increase of 20,000 rupees.
Deputy Minister of Labour Mahinda Jayasinghe provided clarification on this matter in Parliament today.
මේක ඓතිහාසික වැටුප් වැඩිවීමක්. ඉතිහාසයේ මෑත ඉතිහාසයේ මෙතෙක්
This is a historic salary increase, the largest in recent history for government employees. For over 6 years, the basic salary of government employees has not increased. This is the first increase in 6 years. The basic salary of a Graman Ladari will increase from 28,940 rupees to 50,630 rupees, a gross increase of 21,690 rupees. After deducting 7,500 rupees, the net increase will be 14,190 rupees. The basic salary of a doctor entering the medical service will increase from 54,290 rupees to 91,750 rupees. All government employees will receive a 30% increase from the 1st of April. The basic salary of development officers will increase from 37,260 rupees to 63,440 rupees. By the 1st of April, their salary will increase by 10,606 rupees. The basic salary of a teacher entering the teaching service today is 31,490 rupees, which will increase to 53,060 rupees within 3 years. The Subodhani report recommended increasing the salary of second grade teachers from 47,000 rupees to 66,880 rupees and first grade teachers from 62,595 rupees to 81,780 rupees. Do not write off this budget without understanding its value. If you cannot appreciate it, at least do not be cynical.
The second reading of the budget debate began in Parliament today. The debate is scheduled to last for 7 days. Dr. Harsha De Silva initiated the debate on behalf of the opposition. Deputy Minister Chaturanga Abesinghe responded to the matters raised by Dr. Harsha De Silva during the debate.
තරංගේ මැතිවරණ ප්‍රකාශය නිදහසින් පසු මෙරට පාලකයන් අනුගමනය කළ විනාශකාරී ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්ති.
The destructive economic policies followed by the rulers of this country since independence have been subtly modified and implemented in their entirety by the Ranil Wickremesinghe government in 2022 under the IMF program. It is like wearing my pants and pretending to be me. Didn't they lie before the elections? They said they could change the IMF debt sustainability analysis agreement. Where are the promises to reduce the cost of living, massive increases to salaries, reduce income taxes and allow the import of Japanese motorcycles? They promised to purchase paddy for 140 rupees per kilogram. Did these promises materialize in this budget? They promised to eliminate the rice mafia with a single stroke and increase salaries every 6 months. We presented a blueprint stating that the minimum gross salary in the public service, including the cost of living allowance, should be 57,500 rupees. The President added 300 rupees to it and called it 57,800 rupees. The truth is, it is divided into 3 parts and the actual increase is only 8,250. They promised to raise the tax threshold to 2 million rupees. Did they do it? Speaker, they increased the taxes on the 18th December. They increased taxes before and now claim they didn't. The real increase will be from the 1st of April. Who are they fooling?
බදු වැඩි කරේ නැල්ලු. මාර වැඩක් නෙමෙයි මේක. හැබැයි බදු වැඩි වෙන්නේ අප්‍රේල් මාසේ පළවෙනිදා ඉඳලා. කාවද අන්දන්නේ? කාවද අන්දන්නේ?
ජනාධිපතිවරණය එනකොටත් ආර්ථිකය ගැන බිල්ලෝ මවලා ජනතාව රවට්ටන්න ගියා ජනතාව රැවටුන්නේ නැහැ. එතනින් එහාට ගිහිල්ලා
Even during the presidential election, they tried to scare the public about the economy, but the people were not deceived. They said the economy would collapse, the IMF would flee, and the country would go bankrupt. Despite their repeated claims, our economic model is clear. The government acts as a facilitator while the private sector is the engine of the economy. The opposition's economic experts tried to spread falsehood, but only 18% of their candidates won seats. Now, they have no campaign slogans for the next election. We must remind everyone that the economic model that bankrupted our country was theirs. Their model involved presenting a budget and distributing trillions among friends like greedy vultures. We do not follow such a model. We have abandoned the economic model that led to the national bankruptcy and minimal investment in education, health, public, transport and infrastructure. Our economic vision is clearly outlined in the National People's Power Policy Statement, which presents a 5-year plan. We will operate within the IMF agreement framework for the next 3 years, making necessary changes within that framework. The current government has taken a giant economic step to eradicate poverty. This budget marks the end of the neoliberal economic system in Sri Lanka and the beginning of a developmental economic model.
අහෝසි කරනවා අපි මේ අවුරුද්දේ එතකොට නැවතත් අපි යන්නේ සංවර්ධන ආර්ථික ක්‍රමයකට යන පළවෙනි අයවැය බවට මේක පත් වෙනවා.
News First with the people.
News First main sponsor.
Hello නෙමෙයි Tokyo Super ඕන වැඩකට super.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo Super Bond for tiling. Tokyo Super Bond. Do it right the first time.
लाला संभल के हर तरफ खतरा है।
देख के भाई एक गलती और गेम ओवर।
Can you do this, Hardik? ये चैंपियंस का गेम है. It's all on the line. Hey, the president is here. Competition, मजा आएगा.
This is the ICC Champions Trophy.
From 19th onwards, watch live on TV1.
මේ වසන්තේ මේ ආරාධනය විසේකාර දඟකාර හැඩකාර කුමාරයන්ට සහ කෝල කොමල මනලෝල කුමාරියන්ටයි මේ වසන්තේ සිරස වසන්ත කුමරා සහ කුමරිය ලෙස කිරුළු පළදින්න දැන්ම සැරසෙන්න වයස අවුරුදු 18ත් 25ත් අතර කුමාරයන් සහ කුමාරියන් මෑතකදිගත් ඡායාරූපයක් සමග පෙබරවාරි 20 වෙනිදාට පෙර අයදුම් කරන්න. ලිපිනය නිෂ්පාදක සිරස වසන්ත කුමරා සහ කුමරිය ස්ටයින් ස්ටුඩියෝ බොරුපන පාර රත්මලාන. පිවිසෙන්න awurudu.sirasatv.lk.
The Met Department has issued a weather advisory urging the public to remain cautious about rising temperatures. According to the statement, the heat index, which reflects the temperature felt by the human body, is expected to reach the caution level in 5 provinces and several other areas across the country tomorrow. In more local news, the Government of Australia handed over a state-of-the-art shallow water multi-beam echo sounder to the Sri Lanka Navy Hydrographic Service.
The Australian government provided the Sri Lanka Navy with this multi-beam echo sounder to enhance its hydrographic capabilities. This advanced equipment will enable the Sri Lanka Navy Hydrographic Service to conduct precise hydrographic surveys, essential for creating nautical and electronic charts for international use. The device will also facilitate the production of high-precision nautical charts, ensuring safer maritime navigation. The formal ceremony held under the auspices of the High Commissioner of Australia to Sri Lanka, Paul Stevenson, and the Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Kanchana Banagoda, marking a new chapter in the discipline of hydrography.
And this we know that gives us an enhanced capacity on hydrographic surveys that would enable us to produce up-to-date nautical charts, and that would invariably contribute to the safety of maritime navigation, whilst giving the continued capability of serving our harbours, coastal zones and critical waterways. Let me convey my heartfelt appreciation to the people and government of Australia, and to you and your team for materializing this capability and for being here with us in handing over the equipment.
I know that Sri Lanka Navy will take good care of the hydrographic equipment and also put it to very good use, as the equipment directly supports Sri Lanka's sovereign hydrographic capability, enabling the collection of critical maritime data. For an island nation seeking to expand its blue economy, a sovereign hydrographic capability is a critical enhancement that will allow Sri Lanka to map its ocean floor without the need of assistance from other countries. Precise and thorough hydrographic data is also essential for the growth of maritime trade, so important for an island nation like Sri Lanka, which is seeking to support economic growth through expansion and diversification of exports. Furthermore, Australia and Sri Lanka are Indian Ocean neighbours, and we are both islands in the Indian Ocean. We share a strong commitment to an open, prosperous and resilient Indian Ocean region. As geostrategic competition continues to increase in the northeast Indian Ocean, just as in many other theatres, our two countries are looking for partners we can work with and partners we can trust. And Australia sees itself as a partner of trust and choice for Sri Lanka. This year, in 2025, Australia will maintain our program of support and cooperation, not just through the hydrographic equipment whose gifting we are commemorating today, but also through the provision of ongoing training and education opportunities, the return of Indo-Pacific Endeavour, which is an annual fixture in the calendar, and the continuation of fuel support to Sri Lanka Navy operations to help combat transnational crime.
Approximately 40,000 ships pass through our southern seaboard each year, averaging 200 to 300 vessels per day. Each ship requires an ocean map to navigate safely. As a nation, we are committed to creating these maps using modern data in accordance with international conventions. However, due to certain challenges, we have not been able to do this effectively for some time. Now, with the necessary resources in place, the Sri Lanka Navy's hydrographic unit is focused on creating accurate maps using this data and providing them to the relevant naval community. We have also ensured that this data will hold great economic value for the country.
Let's now take a look at the advisory issued by the Met Department with regards to the rising temperature levels.
The Department of Meteorology says that the heat index, or the temperature felt by the human body, is expected to reach caution level tomorrow in the northern, north-central, northwestern, western and southern provinces, as well as in certain areas of the Ratnapura district. The advisory also urges the public to stay hydrated by drinking an adequate amount of water and to take breaks in shaded areas whenever possible. Young children, the elderly and individuals with health issues are advised to take extra precautions. The highest temperature recorded in the country over the past 24 hours was recorded in Ratnapura at 36.6 degrees Celsius. The heat index, or the temperature felt by the human body, is expected to remain at a caution level, ranging between 39 degrees Celsius and 45 degrees Celsius. If the heat index exceeds 51 degrees Celsius, it is considered extremely hazardous.
Heat-related conditions can lead to skin rashes, followed by dehydration due to salt loss, which may cause muscle cramps. If the condition worsens, prolonged exposure to extreme heat and the extreme fatigue it causes can lead to a life-threatening situation such as a heat stroke. Common symptoms we notice include skin rashes and vomiting, muscle cramps, exhaustion, and in severe cases, loss of consciousness and unresponsiveness.
In light of the current weather conditions, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has issued a statement regarding potential disruptions to the water supply. The statement highlights that water levels in sources are rapidly declining, while stating that there is a significant increase in water consumption by the public due to the extreme heat. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has also informed that due to the limited drinking water supply, it should be distributed equitably for essential purposes including drinking and sanitation. The board has urged the public to minimize water usage for activities such as washing vehicles and gardening, and to use water sparingly only for essential daily tasks.
The Ministry of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development has announced a reduction in the prices of bread.
The Ministry of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development has announced that the Bakery Manufacturers Association has agreed to reduce the price of a loaf of bread by 10 rupees. The ministry also stated that the association has agreed to lower the prices of other bakery products.
Yesterday, 2 flour companies in Sri Lanka reduced the price of a kilogram of flour by 10 rupees. While this reduction translates to only about 3 rupees per loaf of bread, we cannot ignore the current economic hardships faced by the public. Despite the minimal reduction, we have decided to lower the price of a 450-gram loaf of bread by 10 rupees starting from midnight tonight. This decision was made in anticipation of further price reductions from the flour companies.
The IMF Executive Board is set to consider Sri Lanka's third review of the current program on the 28th of February.
The third review under the Extended Fund Facility for Sri Lanka will be taken up by the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund on the 28th of February 2025. On the 23rd November 2024, IMF staff and the Sri Lankan authorities reached a staff-level agreement on the third review of Sri Lanka's EFF program. Once the third review is approved by the IMF's Executive Board, Sri Lanka will have access to about $333 million in financing. In March 2023, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund approved a 48-month extended arrangement under the Extended Fund Facility with an amount of SDR 2.286 billion.
Sri Lankan Airlines is set to embark on a fleet expansion as part of its strategic plan to double its aircraft numbers within the next 5 years. Speaking to Bloomberg, CEO Richard Natali highlighted the airline's efforts to lease aircraft and the critical role of government support in navigating financial constraints and maintaining national control over the airline, which is deemed vital for Sri Lanka's tourism-driven economy.
So I think, the airline has been through a sort of turbulent few years. It was well documented that under the previous government, we were looking at privatization. Essentially, after 10 years, the airline has returned to operational profitability. We've been operationally profitable for 3 years. But we still have an awful lot of legacy debt, and we need to find solutions for that before we can go out and do big airline orders or big aircraft orders. In the meantime, we're working to lease aircraft as and when we can, and ideally our fleet really should be double what it is within 5 years. Now, whether we can get there will depend on financing. The new government doesn't want to privatize the airline or lose control of the airline to foreign entities. Tourism is really, really important to Sri Lanka, and therefore the airline is a national asset that needs to be managed within the company. So there are different options, but they're working through which are the best ones at the moment.
Okay, what about the backing you're getting from the government? How secure is that? I mean, Sri Lanka only quite recently exited default. You're government backed. What are the risks here?
Well, so I think the government is going through an IMF process and is not hugely wealthy. The economy is stabilizing, which is good. But I think the flip side is that the government knows how important the airline is to the economy. They have expressed their commitment. And there's they may not be able to stump up $1 billion tomorrow, but there's a lot of things that you can do working within the infrastructure, working with some of the government-held debt that allows us to keep things going until we can find proper financing, and the support is definitely there. Okay,
you alluded to some of the fleet rejuvenation plans. To what levels and by when are we looking at? And is it mostly short-haul jets that you're exploring?
No, I mean, we're basically half narrow-body, half wide-body, 320s and 330s. And I think if you look at the mix, as I say, we would like to double in size over 5 years. Whether we can will depend a little bit on financing and probably more on aircraft availability, given the shortages at the moment. But that mix will still be the same. I think, our most profitable routes longer term are the long-haul ones, but that needs the feeder routes. And India and Southeast Asia are incredibly important to Sri Lanka. And when we look now at what we would do with the increased fleet when we get it, A lot of it will be just to increase frequency to existing destinations. The traveller of today, they don't just want to travel on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Friday or a Saturday. They have a time of day they want to travel. And so to stay relevant, it's important that you have enough frequency to have a flight.
Sri Lanka's total land area has been updated. The latest update has a 1,630 square kilometre increase from the previous measurement of 65,610 square kilometres, which was calculated in the 1980s.
Has Sri Lanka gotten bigger? Yes, Sri Lanka has officially gotten bigger. The Survey Department has updated the country's total land area to 67,240 square kilometers after a calculation done after the 1980s. This is an increase from the previous measurement of 65,610 square kilometers. So you might have a question about how it happened. This isn't because the island itself has physically expanded. Instead, it's due to how the land area is calculated. The Survey Department now includes the area of lagoons and bays which were previously excluded.
A Delta Airlines plane has flipped on landing at Toronto Pearson Airport, leaving 18 people injured. Investigators are now working to determine the cause of the crash, which occurred during high winds and frigid temperatures.
A Delta Airlines flight flipped upside down upon landing at Toronto Pearson Airport amid windy weather following a snowstorm, injuring 18 out of the 80 people on board. 3 people on the flight that originated at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport suffered critical injuries, among them a child. U.S. carrier Delta said a CRJ-900 aircraft operated by its Endeavour Air subsidiary was involved in a single aircraft accident with 76 passengers and 4 crew on board. The CRJ-900, made by Canada's Bombardier, can sit up to 90 people. Canadian authorities said they would investigate the cause of the crash, which was not yet known. A video posted of the aftermath on social media shows a fire engine spraying water on the plane that was lying belly up on the snow-covered tarmac. According to CNN, there was no indication of anything unusual before landing. Pearson Airport said it was dealing with high winds and frigid temperatures as airlines attempted to catch up with the missed flights after a weekend snowstorm that dumped more than 22 centimeters of snow at the airport. The Delta plane touched down in Toronto at 2:13 p.m. after an 86-minute flight and came to rest near the intersection of runway 23 and runway 15.
Emir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani is in India on a 2-day state visit.
Extending a rare gesture of hospitality, Prime Minister Modi went to the airport to receive the Emir of Qatar, who arrived in Delhi. He held talks with Emir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Discussions were centered around trade deals, energy cooperation and investments. Qatar is a key LNG supplier to India, and talks also included infrastructure, finance, technology and food security. The issue of Indian naval veterans may be addressed. The two leaders met to review bilateral relations shortly after Sheikh Tamim was accorded a ceremonial welcome by Indian President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Modi had personally received the Emir on his arrival in New Delhi on Monday, reflecting the importance attached by India to bilateral ties. Besides elevating the relationship to a strategic partnership, the two sides signed a revised agreement for avoidance of double taxation and prevention of fiscal evasion for taxes on income. India's imports from Qatar include LPG, chemicals, petrochemicals, plastics and aluminium articles. India's exports to Qatar include cereals, vegetables, fruits, spices, copper, iron and steel, electrical and other machinery, plastic products and construction materials.
The ICC Champions Trophy 2025 tournament starts tomorrow. The tournament will be hosted by Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates.
This will be the 9th edition of the ICC Champions Trophy, which began in 1998. This year's tournament is taking place after a hiatus of 8 years. Australia have taken the trophy twice so far, which is the most by any team that has taken part in the tournament. Pakistan are the defending champions this year, having lifted the trophy in the last edition, which was hosted in England and Wales in 2017. This year, 8 top ODI sides are ready to battle it out over the course of 19 days of cricketing action. Afghanistan, Australia, Bangladesh, England, India, New Zealand, Pakistan and South Africa will feature in the 9th edition of the ICC Champions Trophy 2025. All matches featuring India will take place in the UAE. Pakistan will take on New Zealand in the first match of the 9th edition of the ICC Champions Trophy 2025. The match will begin tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Sri Lankan time. The MTV Media Network is the official local broadcaster of the tournament. All the action of the ICC Champions Trophy 2025 will be aired live on TV1 and www.sirasatv.lk.
Of Kintsugi, the book by Anoma Vijayawardena was held in Colombo yesterday.
Kintsugi is a book that brings together the artistic vision of Anoma Vijayawardena and the literary brilliance of Ramesh Gunasekara. Inspired by the Japanese philosophy of repairing broken ceramics with gold lacquer, the book symbolizes resilience, renewal and the beauty in imperfection.
Kintsugi at the Venice Biennale in 2019. It was the other day. Translations we have to do of them because there are many languages.
The book is an extension of Kintsugi art installation, which includes paintings, a video, a mirrored installation and a music by Oscar-nominated composer Sharon Smith. It explores the idea that beauty can emerge from brokenness, offering a meditation on healing, endurance and collaboration across different art forms.
We leave you tonight with our special segment, Happy Headlines.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
Happy Headlines. The Sri Lanka Classic 2025 rally, mix of pre-war, vintage and classic cars, got underway in Waikal this morning. Organized by Destination Rally, it promises an extraordinary 15-day adventure through the enchanting landscapes of Sri Lanka. The rally, running until the 3rd of March 2025, will see participants travel 1,682 kilometers of the island's most scenic roads. With a mix of pre-war, vintage and classic cars, the Sri Lanka Classic 2025 rally is an experience blending adventure, culture and luxury. Happy Headlines.